Well, folks, the time has come for me to go back to one of the original subjects of this channel. This is not going to be your typical DoorDash, Uber Eats type of video. I'm going back to the sovereign citizen mode on this one. What if I told you about the dumbest argument a sovereign citizen has ever made on the side of the road? Link will be in the description with another video from one of the great sovereign citizen troll lists in the world, Van Balian. Please subscribe to him. He's great. I mean, he's just awesome with this. He's from the UK and he knows more about the Constitution than most of these idiots combined. But here's the dumbest argument in the history. It's at about the 255 mark of the linked video. And here it goes. I am not a US citizen. You realize how stupid and how astronomically risky that is in this particular day and age? With ICE running around on the loose doing what they've done? What I'm thinking is going to happen on one of these videos, one of these days, is the SovCit is going to say that they're not a U.S. citizen. The law enforcement is going to immediately call the nearest chapter of ICE, Immigration and Customs Enforcement, who've been in the news all over the place lately. And these guys and these idiots, or one of these idiots, will get arrested, not just for the usual stuff, such as, not providing identification, driver's license, proof of registration, just like in this video. They're going to be arrested by ICE for being illegal, for being in the country illegally. Now, as far as whether this is going to result in any charges as such against them, definitely depends on the discovery of facts and if they really are a U.S. citizen or not. But that's not the point. The point is that this is an extremely risky roadside defense by sovereign citizens. It's come up several times. This case, I believe, is in Florida, and I believe it's in Volusia County, which is where the sovereign citizen argument goes to die. Those officers in that county are just, they don't mess around. They really don't. They've heard about the sovereign citizen arguments left and right. They know how to handle them. And this video is no different. Sovereign citizens, for those who are not really aware, are people who believe that the laws do not apply to them. They use fictitious constitutional arguments. They use made-up Supreme Court cases. And most of these idiots pay for this information from so-called gurus who are selling this information on the internet. If they've paid $99 or $199, whatever it is, for this script, they're paying these grifters money. I'm sure one of the arguments is that they're not a U.S. citizen. Again, in this day and age, with who's running the White House these days, that's absolutely asinine. At some point, one of these people is going to get arrested by ICE. What happens in the court case from there depends on what the actual facts are. Now, if they're not actually a U.S. citizen, they could be headed for Guantanamo Bay. And I really wish that that's where some of these people would go anyway. If we put these people in Guantanamo Bay, this crap's going to stop as soon as the risk of these people being in a prison camp of that caliber, first one hits there, this is gonna stop. But I don't think there's a way to actually get this to happen anytime soon, unless they really are not a U.S. citizen. If they're actually telling the truth, then there is going to be a way for them to get there. But again, just the risk alone is the risk alone is very high for these people who make this absolutely false argument on the side of the road. Even if I was visiting another country, I would be liable to follow that country's laws. If I went to, Canada, me being in Minnesota, if I jumped over the border for a couple days, I'm still subject to Canadian law. Cross the border, hit the North Shore, go up to like Thunder Bay, Ontario, for example, which is just about 20 miles in from the U.S. border, on the shore of Lake Superior. Been dying to get up there, and if someday I do, I'm subject to Canadian laws. So even if they're not a U.S. citizen, they are subject to the United States laws, and that's what makes this argument so stupid. Absolutely stupid. So the link to the whole video is in the description. Read it through, watch it through. Van Ballion, one of the best at this in the world. It's his channel. And at the 255 mark, she makes the argument that she's not a U.S. citizen. Again, high risk, no reward. You're not getting out of having to show your driver. You're not getting out of having to have a driver's license, proof of insurance, or registration. The reason why these people fall into this for this grift, as I've said before, they usually wind up in this rabbit hole because their license got revoked, registration was not renewed, license got suspended, something that they did that caused them to have these things revoked. And so they go looking for a solution on the internet and they run into a soft channel. They shout $99 to $199, whatever it is. I haven't looked at any of these channels. I'd be interested to know. They fall for it. They think it's going to be the solution to the problems. Instead, it makes their life an absolute hell. Absolute hell. So, if you're a DoorDash or an Uber driver and you lose your license or get it suspended, do not fall for this grift, and certainly don't sit there and make an argument that you're not a U.S. citizen, because the truth will find you. And if the truth is that you're not a U.S. citizen, obviously you're going to be in the hands of ICE shortly. So anyhow, that's it for this go round. Link to the original video in the description. Link to Van Ballion's channel also there as well. Folks, have a good one. I'll see you with probably more delivery content in the next upcoming days. But for now, hopefully you enjoyed this. And again, watch the original video in the description. Folks, have a great one. Peace out, homies.